Hi everyone, and welcome to this video where I will concentrate on preparing a typical Chilean dish. In this case, I have chosen the empanada de pino, that is very common on the independence days of our country. Let's start with some historical context. Thousands of years ago, the Arabs, or people in the Middle East in general, used to wrap the meat in dough to keep it fresh on long journeys. Years later, this method was improved in Spain, where people prepared a tasty dish based on meat, but adding more ingredients. The Spaniards brought empanadas to Chile in the colonial era, but here the ingredients were exchanged for things unique in this area, such as puri, or more commonly known as pino. The word pino, as I said before, is derived from the indigenous Mapuche word puri or pinu, meaning pieces of cooked meat. Now, let's see the ingredients. In terms of ingredients, I will concentrate on using the recipe prepared by my mother and my grandmother, which is the following. To prepare the pino, we need 230 grams of ground beef, 1 tablespoon of paprika powder, 1 tablespoon of salt, and 5 onions. To prepare the dough, we need 1 kilogram of flour, 150 grams of butter, and 1 tablespoon of salt. And finally, we need another ingredients that are very important too, that are the following. 4 eggs in this case, some raisins, 200 grams of raisin, and 200 grams of olive. Now, let's start with the preparation. But before starting, I recommend you to soak the raisins in order for them to be soft at the moment of eating. Okay? Now, let's continue with the preparation. The first step is to prepare the pino, because it's the main ingredient of the empanada. Now let's take a look at this. Chop all the onions and put them in a large pot. Then add the ground beef, some oil, 1 tablespoon of paprika powder, and another one of salt. Blend for 10 minutes while simmering on low heat. And finally, let's stand until the pino is cool. That is important. Meanwhile the pino is cooled, it's time to prepare the dough in order to save time. So, the first step is to put 1 kilogram of flour in a bowl, and then make a hole in the center, where we pour 150 grams of butter, which must be previously melted in a frying pan. Then add a tablespoon of salt and 1 cup of warm water. All these ingredients must be blended until a homogeneous mixture is obtained. It is very important that before starting to knead the dough, we need to boil the eggs for 8 minutes over high heat. While the eggs are boiling, knead the dough to obtain a smooth consistency. Then it's time to make dough balls the size of the palm of your hand, something like this, which must be kneaded with a rolling pin until you get a circle that will be used as the base for the empanada. Once the eggs are boiled, you have to remove the shells and slide them in 4 parts. Now, having all the ingredients prepared, it's time to put in order what will be our dish. There is no specific order for the ingredients of the empanada, but the idea is that they are distributed as equally as possible in the dough. The first thing I would do is to put the pino, because as I said before, it's the main ingredient of the empanada and is the most delicious part of it. The amount is about 2 tablespoons. Then add a piece of egg followed by 1 olive, and at the end add 2 or 3 raisins. In my personal opinion, I prefer empanada without olives because I think they are disgusting. In terms of the way of folding the dough, there are different ways to do it, but the one we usually use is perhaps the simplest. It consists of folding it in half and then joining the lateral sides to finish with the top side. Make sure that each side of the empanada is well pressed. Then each empanada should be carefully placed in a baking tray. I recommend that the baking tray should be raised with some butter before use. Finally, each empanada should be painted with egg yolk in order to brown them when they are baked. To finish the preparation, the empanadas should be baked at a temperature of 180 degrees for 40 minutes, after which they are ready to be eaten. As a conclusion of my presentation, I can say that the empanada is a typical dish that you can eat at any time of the year. As you could see, is very easy to cook. And the ingredients are very common and you can find them in any part of the city. And what do you think? Do you prefer the empanadas with or without raisins? That is a discussion that is still going on. Thanks for watching. Bye.